What's up, YouTube? Thank you for joining us. Listen, we're going to do two things today, right? One of the things we're going to do today is to look at an apartment, a lovely apartment that I found in Kenya for under 40,000 USD. Under 40,000 USD. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Actually, it might not be the first thing we're going to do. In fact, it's not the first thing we're going to do. But that's one of the things we're going to do. The other thing we're going to do is this. Listen carefully, right? And this is off the back of a few conversations that I've heard on YouTube. O'Shea Duke Jackson has been doing some brilliant streams about the dangers of buying property in Africa in general, and I suppose Ghana in particular. So he's been doing some amazing streams about that. To make sure that that didn't affect anything. He's been doing some amazing streams about that. All right. So we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at that. The dangers. Yeah, sorry, let me get back to it. So I just spilled some water. Yeah, we're going to be getting back to the dangers of buying property, not just on the African continent, but specifically in Ghana. And also, really, I also saw a stream by a brilliant YouTuber called Go Black to Africa, where he had a panel on, and they were talking about their buying nightmares. I think it was in Ghana. They were talking about their buying nightmares in Ghana. And listen, if you are going to buy on the African continent, there is buying dangers, not going to lie. There is buying dangers, especially if you don't do proper do your proper due diligence, and if you don't know what you're doing. You see, far too many people, right? And I did listen to the stream that Go Black to Africa did. I listened to it in detail, and there seemed to be complaints about one. I don't know what she was. I don't know if she was a middleman, whatever you want to call her. And she basically was, it seems like that the stories that some of the people told on the panel basically were saying that this woman was a bit of a scammer and scammed people out of their money and all the rest of those things, right? There's loads of people like that, not just in Ghana, not just on the African continent, but everywhere. And they prey on people who do not do their due diligence, or people that expect somebody else to do, to do something for them. I just got to say it the way it is, right? So listen, I'm going to go through some information that hopefully is going to help you if you are looking to buy somewhere. Not just, we're going to focus in on Ghana, but hopefully it's going to help you. And if you're going to be buying land or property anywhere on the African continent, all right? That is what we're going to go through now, all right? So do go and listen to that stream. I think it's the last stream that Go Black to Africa did. And don't get me wrong, look, you've got scammers all over the African continent. You've got con men, con women. In this case, it was a con woman that they were talking about her actions, what she didn't do, and all the rest of those bits and pieces. You've got people like that. As far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't do anything. You shouldn't buy anything, number one, unless you're there on the ground. You've got to be there. Right, you've got to be there. If anything goes wrong, you could blame the scammers, but really it's your money. So you have got to protect your investment from the get-go. But look, let's go through the information without further ado. So we're going to go through how to buy land and or property, right? The best way of doing it in Ghana, to avoid the scammers, to avoid the pitfalls, to avoid people that are literally just waiting there to prey on unsuspecting foreigners. Because effectively, even though we're, a lot of us looking to buy in Ghana on the African continent have African heritage, have African DNA, right? If you're not from that country, or specifically, forget that, if you've not done your due diligence properly, if you're going to try and buy it with a hands-off attitude, right, then you're going to get scammed. It's literally that simple. You should expect to get scammed if you are going to be a hands-off buyer. You should expect to get scammed. Just expect it. Straight up, expect it. That is going to be you. That is going to be you, all right? It will be you. All right. So, look, let's go through this. All right. So number one, right, listen very carefully, right? This is to all the people that complain about getting scammed, rightly or wrongly, but I will use the word complain, that somebody scammed you on the African continent, that you got scammed out of land, that you got scammed out of your money, your property, whatever it is, right? Listen. Or if you're thinking about, in fact, go through all of this and do your own research as well about every single point I'm going to mention. About every single point I'm going to mention, you do your own due diligence first. Now, this is a men's channel, but no doubt women that listen to this are going to get something from it as well. So, okay, number one, never give money to a third party. Listen carefully. Never give your money to a third party. Who's a third? Who counts as a third party? Some sort of go-between, some sort of an estate agent, some sort of fixer, someone who knows the chiefs, and you give them your money to them, and then they go to the chiefs and they do it all they negotiate on your behalf. Some sort of go-between, in-between person, someone who knows the lay of the land, someone who's in Ghana when you're not. Never give your money at all, at any point, ever, never, ever, ever. Don't do business with a third party. Don't do it. That is absolutely number one. In the case, what I got from the panel, the women that were complaining on the Go Black to Africa channel, great channel, by the way, do go and subscribe and check it out. What I got from those women was that they were complaining about a woman who was some sort of go-between, some sort of middle woman, some sort of woman in the middle who does things for you and sort of makes things happen, right? It's just nonsense. Don't give your money to a third party for anything. No, nothing, no reason whatsoever. So that's absolutely number one. Don't take the money out your pocket. Number two, never buy land without a property lawyer that has offices in your home country and the country where you are looking to buy land in, right? In the UK, there's a Ghanaian lawyer that's got offices here in Tottenham, up here, North London, but they've also got offices in Ghana, right? We've used them for something completely different, but we know that they do property conveyancing as well, that they handle that. And they've got offices in both countries, and we've spoken to them about property as well. And they've done a little bit of business for us around property. All right, but they're very good. But in every country, whether you're in the States or the UK, you do it through a lawyer. Don't do it on your own. If you do it on your own, then you're just asking for trouble straight away. You're going to have to pay lawyer fees, but it's better to do that up front, right? And have someone like a lawyer in your corner to advise you than to muck around and try and do it yourself. In the long run, that will cost you money and you're not going to be very happy, right? So use a property lawyer that has offices, right, in your country, the US or England or some other European country, and the country where you are looking to buy property, right? That is absolutely number two, right? Check with the lands, listen carefully, check with the Lands Commission who owns the land. Now, the Lands Commission in Ghana, right, they have all of the copies of the title deeds with the names on it, right? So whatever piece of land or property you're looking to buy, house or apartment, whatever, the papers, the title deeds, the indenture, we'll come to that in a minute, the site plot is all at the Lands Commission. So before you hand over any money for anything, your first phone call should be, the first inquiry should be, do you own the land, right? The person in front of you will say yes or no. Okay, who owns the land if you don't? Get the full name of if you've got a developer with you, like I normally have, that person will ring the Lands Commission, right, and find out whether or not the name that the person's given to you is on the title deed and indenture and the site plot at the Lands Commission. Each area in Ghana has basically has an office, right? So you have to do that. If the name differs at the Lands Commission, then the person trying to sell the land in front of you doesn't own it. In Ghana, you've got a lot of people trying to sell land and property that simply have no right to have no right to be selling it, right? And people get scammed and ripped off because they're giving their money. They've not checked with the Lands Commission as to who owns the land, right? Or the house or the apartment, whatever, right? You need to do your due diligence with the Lands Commission. Whatever anyone says, it's your responsibility to check with the Lands Commission as to who owns the land. It's not anyone else's job to do that. It's your job. If you lose your money because you haven't done your due diligence to check with the Lands Commission whose name is on the title deed, whose name is on the indenture, that is your fault. It's not the scammer's fault. The scammer's doing their job. They're meant to scam. That is their job. They're doing their job right. If they scam you, they've done their job right. And trust me, it's not nice to be scammed. It's not. It's not nice to have your hard-earned money ripped away from you. It's not. But it will happen. It's just life. That is life. That's life here in the UK. You grow up in some places in the UK and you just grow up understanding that as soon as you step out that front door, everyone's coming at you trying to make a quick pound, and they will do it through you. Even if they're your mate, they'll still do it through you, and they may even like you, let alone people that don't know you or like you. Do you understand that? And in Ghana, like in a lot of countries, like in the Caribbean, anywhere, you've got family members that will still try and rip off each other, right? And but anyway, we'll come to that in a minute, in respect of how it works in Ghana. Well, in fact, we'll do it now. In Ghana, imagine you've got two family members or whatever. You want to buy a bit of land. And you need all the family members to sign for it. One is either missing or they don't want to bring that guy in. All they will do is, if they've all got to be in one office to sign a document, they will bring a different friend, promise him a little bit of money. He will sign it or whatever. They'll give him some false papers, and then they will pay him. They will sell the land, they will split the money, they will disappear. And then that third brother, who should have been in on the deal, who wasn't, right? He will come out the woodwork saying that they had no right to sell it to you. He may be a half brother, he may be a full brother, they may not get on with it. It could be anything, right? So, you still need to do your due diligence, right? Through a lawyer, right? But anyway, we come to a way of avoiding that. Right, and it's to do with buying it from. It's to do with buying it from the TDC. This is if you're in and around Accra, the TDC or the AMA, the Tema Development Corporation, or the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. You've got these bodies all over Ghana. You could buy land from them rather than from a stool or a chief. But we'll come to that. All right. Okay, so hopefully this is useful, guys. It's meant to be useful. It's meant to clear up a lot of nonsense that I heard. Not nonsense, but the sad situation of Africans, children of the kidnapped people living in the diaspora, whether it be the Caribbean or the Americas or the UK, getting scammed, right? So hopefully this can help. Keep listening, all right? Point number 5, ensure you can purchase all needed paperwork from the Lands Commission. Lands Commission, right? That name, Lands Commission, should be etched on your brain, all right? Right, so what paperwork do you need? You're going to need the indenture with the seller's name on it, the site plot, the site plan, right, with the seller's name on it, right? And the title deed with the seller's name on it. Right. So as soon as someone, you like a bit of land and the person says, I don't know, 30,000 Ghana cedis or whatever it might be, right? Or it might be, it's probably going to be in USD these days, right? What you do, you get on your phone or you go down to the Lands Commission and you check, right? You check who owns the land. And even after that, right, what you want, you give it to your lawyer. And then the idea is the person who's selling it produces ID. Country government ID, right? But anyway, right, you want to purchase or get all of the paperwork from the Lands Commission, and that's you Go into the Lands Commission. No third party, no one doing it on your behalf. You walk down to the office or get on a cho-cho and go down to the office and sit there and pay for the documents yourself and look at the documents, right? That's your job. That's not a third party's job to go and do what you should be doing, all right? You don't pay anyone 50 cities to go and do that. You do it. You do it. All right. Okay. Let's move on. The seller's name should be on all three documents. All three documents. That's the indenture, the site plan, and the title deed. Right. Number 6. Write into any contract. This is a slightly different issue, but I'll say it anyway. Write into any contract. This is after you've purchased a land or house or whatever. Write into any contract that you can extend the lease, right? You should be able to do that. So you should literally be able to write, because I think leases in Ghana, I think they're only, 50 years? But if you want an extension, write that into any lease that you're going to get. Just write into it a clause. Make sure that there's a clause in it that you can extend the lease to 100 years or that you can keep extending it, all right? There will be a fee for that. But you can write into the lease that's going to be a set fee, so it doesn't keep jumping up to stupid amounts. All right, so bear that one in mind. Number 8 or number 7 rather. Listen carefully. Immediately build a wall around any land you buy ASAP and start to build. All right, I say it again. Your job, right? Not anywhere. You've got to supervise it. So you've got to be in Ghana. Right, you've got to, if you have to get a tent or a caravan and sit on the land so nobody nicks your bricks, your breeze blocks, right, you've got to immediately build a wall around any land you buy in Ghana ASAP. After you've built your wall, start to build on it, right? But before you build, you're going to need a building permit, but we'll come to that in a minute. And don't start to build unless you've got a building permit. You need even one of those in the UK. If you put up a house in the UK without a building permit, right, trust me, building regulations in the UK will come to your place and tear it down or ask you to rip it down because you didn't go through the due process. There's a process. In Ghana, believe it or not, there is a process that everybody has to follow. It's not a free-for-all. You can't just build what you want, right, and hope the government's going to like it. No, you need to still get a building permit, but we'll come to that as well a bit later on, right? So where am I? Yeah, number 8. Don't buy land if you are not in the country, right? So in other words, don't buy land through a third party, through a mate, through a friend, through a girlfriend, through some hot Ghanaian round bottom baby that you're dating on the internet. Don't buy land through a third party. No, don't buy land if you are not there in the country and do not plan to start building straight away. In my opinion, now, a lot of people, what they do, they buy land, they box it off, they build a wall, they don't start to build straight away. That's what they do. A lot of people do it. Personally, I would advise that as soon as you've boxed it, you start to build and you're there, right? I mean, I've got Ghanaian friends. What they've done, they've boxed off their land. It's been sitting there for years. Personally, I would box it and build straight away, right? But again, do your research around that one. I've told you what I would do, but you can do what you want. But a lot of Ghanaians, they box it and it sits there for ages. Appreciating in value when they're ready to build, they can. They're saving up the money to build, whatever, right? But people do different things on that one. Use builders, listen carefully, use builders with a proven, visible track record. Use builders with a proven, visible track record. In other words, right, you've got loads of building companies, not just in Ghana, but all over the African continent. They specialize in building certain types of houses. They're visible companies. They pay tax, not small companies. You could use smaller companies if you want. They've still got a track record, but the bottom line is it's got to be an observable, visible track record whereby you can go and visit their properties and see what they've put up, right? And so you can actually see it, right? That's your job to go and check out the track record of a company because you're giving them your money. So you want to see what you're going to get. And it's got to be a track record that is, that is a good one, right? So don't just give some builder some money and expect it all to happen, right? It's not going to happen. What they, especially if you're not there, what they will do is take your money and send you pictures of some other building going up, and then when you go there, your building's not built and they're gone. All the money's gone, right? They've bought no equipment, nothing, no breeze box, nothing, no cement, nothing, right? There's nothing on the land, right? Because you've not been there, and that's your fault. Right? You should assume everyone's going to scam you. That's what you should do. You should make an assumption everybody is out to scam you. We're not just in Ghana, but everywhere, in your country, in America, in the States, in the UK, in the Caribbean. Just make an assumption. As soon as you walk out the door, everyone's going to scam you. Right? You might not say that's not a nice way to live. That's how I live. That's how maybe it's because that's where I was born and brought up. But no, that is as far as I'm concerned, that is the absolute correct mentality, right? Don't get all sort of don't look at Ghana or Africa as God, what's it, through rose tinted glasses. Don't. It's business, right? Don't look at Ghana through rose tinted. Oh, I'm going home, and when I get there, I'm going to kiss the ground, and I'm going to go to the door of no return and cry my eyes out. Every Ghanaian I meet is my brother. No, it's not. It's a jungle. And I don't mean because it's Africa. I just mean life is a jungle. Some of us were born in concrete jungles like I was. Everyone is on the make. It's as simple as that, right? So, anyway, look, let's just keep going. So I don't want to go too far off track. So as I said before, use builders with a proven track record and be there, right? It's your job to be there. Number 10. Do not buy, listen, because one of the gripes from those women that say they got ripped off by that, I think she was an African-American woman that they were giving money to, who was the third party doing whatever she was doing for them on their behalf in Ghana with the chiefs, right? With the chiefs, right? So listen to this, number 10. Do not buy land from a stool or a chief, right? Do not buy land from a stool, in other words, a royal family, or a chief. No. Why? Because, again, they will listen carefully, what they will do, they will sell you land, but when the new chief, and you will build your house, all of that, you think everything is fine and dandy, then the new chief will come in. When the new chief comes in, he will come to you and he will say that the old chief had no right to sell you the land, right? Had no right to sell you the land. So do not, and then what they will ask for is either that you pay them again, and that would be whatever the market value is at that moment in time. What if you've had that house up for 5, 10, 15 years, and then the new chief comes along and says to you, the old one had no right to sell you the land? Crap. And trust me, that happens a lot. Right? So don't buy land from stools, from a royal family or a chief. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? And so now you're going to say to me, so who do we buy land from then? That's what you're going to say to me. Who do we buy land from if you're saying do not buy it from a royal family, a stool or a chief? Who do we buy land from? I will tell you. Right? Listen, only, and this goes back to what I said earlier on about 5, 10 minutes ago. Only buy land from government offices. For example, the TDC, Tema Development Corporation. You all know where Tema is, right? Or the AMA, Accra Metropolitan Assembly, right? And there's other offices like that. They're all the same, government offices all over Ghana, right? The benefit of buying land from government offices is that all of what they've done, they've already purchased it from the royal families and from the chiefs. They've done that dog's work, that legwork already. They've got the indentures, they've got the title, all of the paperwork. In fact, the government's name is on the paperwork, and it's all in one place, and you're buying it from them. It's already been done. All of that paperwork has been done for you, right? And you're buying it from the government. No chief is going to come and say to you, it's ours, because they've already sold it to the government. right? So don't buy land from a royal family, a stool, or a chief. That is the way to lose your money. Not all the time, but there's a possibility you can lose your money. It's the truth. It's up to you, mate. But this is my advice. Don't do it, right? Government offices like the TDC or the AMA, and is low, depending on what area in Ghana you want to buy in, they are going to have their government office. Okay, I can't be clearer than that. You can do what you want, but this is my advice. All right. Number 12, ask the Lands Commission if the land for sale is either farmland designated for farm use only, or if you are allowed to build houses and or apartments on that land. Yeah, some land, this is what a lot of people don't actually know. Some land in Ghana is designated for farm use only. What happens is that a royal family or a chief will say, yeah, go on, you can buy the land. But what they haven't told you, and what you've not done, is you've not done your due diligence to actually find out what you can actually use the land for. You've not done your due diligence. They've sold it to you. You put up a house, right? You go to get your building permit, first of all, right? And then from the building permit I think it's from the Lands Commission. And then the Lands Commission turns around and says to you, yeah, you can only do farming on that land. You say, but I want to build a house. No, you're not allowed to build a house. It's just like the UK. There's some places in the UK where you're literally not allowed to build a house. It's for farm use only. Or here's the other one. Some land is only meant for rambling, right? In other words, you're not allowed to farm on it. You're not allowed to build a house on it. It's just open land that people ramble on. In other words, you can walk your dog on it. You can walk your dog on it, and you can go and take off your clothes in it and run around. But what you're not allowed to do is build a house on it or farm on it, right? So you've got to find out what use you can put land to before you buy it, and you do it at the Lands Commission or whatever office is in that area. Sorry, it's the Lands Commission, but you go to the local office, right? And so if you're in the Western region, whatever region of Ghana you're in, there is a Lands Commission, and you go there and say, what can I do with the land? Is it for farm use only, or can I build a house there? Right? That's your job to find out. Don't try and, if you do it through a third party, all they want is your money. And when they've got your money, they're going to disappear, right? It's as simple as that. So I know this is useful, and the Bible says those that have ears to hear, let them hear. Right? Those that can be bothered to listen, let them listen. All right. So, I probably should have went over all this months ago, but anyway. Number 12, ask the Lands Commission. I've done that one. Number 13, buy land that already has a building on it. This is a good. It's a bit of a not a trick, but it's a good method of ensuring that you can build. So buy land that already has a building on it. There's a better chance that you will be allowed to build what you want on it, right? So and again, it's the same in the UK. If there's already a house erected on a bit of land, right? Obviously you'll check whether or not, with the Lands Commission as to whether or not you could build on it what you want to build on it. But let's just say there's a block of apartment buildings, an apartment block on a bit of land. The chances are, right, that you are going to be able to knock that down and build what you want on it, which may be a block of apartments as an investment or whatever it might be. But the point is, right, you check if it's got a building on it already, right, then that's not a bad thing. Chances are you could build what you want on it. You could raise that to the ground, and then more than likely be able to build what you want. So I'll say it again: purchase a bit of land that's already got a building on it that you plan to knock down and do what you want. All right, so that's a bit of game there, guys. Hopefully this is useful. Number 14, after purchase, you need to submit your architectural. So listen, look, after you buy the bit of land, you need to submit your architectural drawings to the Lands Commission to get your building permit before you build. So you need to submit your architectural, just like any country, you've got to give the Lands Commission your architectural drawings. In other words, the thing, that you want to, the structure you want to put up, right? Give it to them. And if they like it, if they approve it, they will give you a building permit. Now, what do you think is going to happen if you buy your bit of land, then you put your building up, right? You spend all that money and you build it, and you haven't got a building permit. What do you think is going to happen? You run the risk of the government coming and just pulling down your building. It's literally that simple. You run the risk of the the Lands Commission coming around and simply pulling down your building, and that will be your fault because you haven't done your due diligence again, right? Yeah. You've got to do things in the right order. If you're in the States, I'm sure they've got, I'm sure you've got to do the same thing. I'm sure if you want to build a building on any piece of land, because that's how it is in the UK. I'm sure in the States, what you've got to do, right, is get your architect to do whatever drawing you want to, or whatever building you want to put up. And then I'm sure, going to have to take it down to the local government. They will look at it and approve it, right? And that's how it is in the UK. That's how it is in Ghana. Just do what you're meant to do. Otherwise, you're going to be making a video on YouTube saying that the government doesn't want you there. They want to come and pull down my building. But did you get a building permit? Right? Did you submit your architectural drawings? And did you get a building permit? Yes or no? Be honest. Don't just come on YouTube and say this, that, and the other, and you haven't done the thing that you are meant to do. That doesn't make any sense. That makes absolutely no sense. All right? But people do that. People leave out details. When they come and make YouTube videos, what they do, they leave out important details, right, of things that they didn't do. That is what people do. Let's be honest, man. Got to be honest. People are making a whole heap of YouTube videos, not just about Ghana, but the whole African continent, saying that there's this scammers, I got scammed, I got you. But did you do what you're meant to do? Or did you put your whole trust in a third party? And that third party's got no track record, no qualification, right? They're a member of no professional body at all. But you gave them 30, 40, 50,000 USD or 30,000, more like, hundreds of thousands of pounds, right? To go and do what? And they've got no qualification to do the thing that you're paying them to do. What sense? That doesn't make any damn sense. That makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. But here's the most important thing, right? Listen carefully. Point number 15. Do nothing until you research all of the above points for yourself. Do nothing until you research all of the above points absolutely for yourself. In other words, you get up and you do the research, not your mate, not your round bottom Ghanaian girlfriend that you've connected with on social media who lives in Ghana, who's going to get her uncle to do it. Now you pick yourself up, you get on a flight, you go to Ghana, you do the research, you yourself, or you do it on the internet from the UK. You speak to Ghanaians, right? You do that until you know as much about the property land buying market, right, as any average Ghanaian. And that is your job to do, your job. Don't, so that you're not making YouTube videos about getting scammed, right, by somebody when you didn't do the things that I've just laid out. Everything I've just said, right, is what you should do. Everything I've just said is what you should do. And, I've focused in on Ghana, but the same difference is going to be pretty much on the whole African continent. And most of this, to be honest with you, I would say, except for the thing about the royal family and the chiefs, because no one's buying land or property from King Charles, right? Actually, is that true? No, the houses, anyway, right? But everything I just said is what you should be doing, all right? So listen, hopefully that was useful for somebody, right? Yeah? Hopefully that was useful for someone. Was it? I'm hoping it was. All right, look, we're going to move on, right, to what we're meant to be talking about. This is always going to be a short one anyway, but we're going to move on, and I'm going to clip that and put it up as a separate video, right? But look, we're going to move on to this, all right? Now, This is an apartment building in Kenya, right? And this is all about what's on the thumbnail, right? This is a beautiful apartment building in Kenya, right? When I saw this, I just went, wow. Now, the price of this is £37,000. I'm going to forget the 357 quid. £37,000. This is in this is Symphony Residence, Lavington, which is an area in Nairobi, and it's a decent part of Nairobi, right? So what I want to do is now we're going to be, that's the price of a studio. You can see that there. Hopefully you can see that. Let me just check you can see that. Yeah, you can. Right, so this is the price of a studio, 37,000 quid, which is cheap. Now, you're not going to get that in London anywhere, man. You're not going to get that in London anywhere. Now, let's look at the general fixtures and fittings, what you actually get, right? So, generally speaking, and I think this is an off-plan buy as well, but we will check that. I don't know if they've broken ground with it. They've probably broken ground, I think, but let's check. I'm not sure, but let's look at some of the images, right? So let's just go through these. Now, you're obviously going to buy it without any furniture, without any soft furnishings, right? I assume. Let's just have a look at these. So you get a brilliant looking gym, yeah, beautiful. Another picture of that gym. You know, as far as I'm concerned, right? If I had access to a gym in a building, then I would definitely. I mean, yeah. Definitely buy it. I mean, I might even do one of these myself, only because it would rent out on Airbnb, no problem, because of what you've got in the building. Yeah, it would rent out on Airbnb, no problem, because of what you've got in the building. This is a children's creche, good for small families. Artist impression of the fixtures and fittings. Now, obviously, if you're buying a studio, you're not going to get this fully fitted, huge kitchen, but you're going to get something a smaller version of this. £37,000. This is what you get for 37,000 English pounds, which is about what in USD? I think you can do the math. Probably around about 42,000 USD, maybe. Basically, it's beautiful. That's what the building generally looks like. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. I'm sure this is an artist impression. It's definitely not been built yet. But that's basically what the building looks like. It's a huge building. I know some people don't like living in high-rise buildings, but for that price, for what you're getting, I would. I would. Yeah, let's carry on. Get an the use of a beautiful outdoor swimming pool. So that's the gym. That's the outdoor pool. Artist impression. It's difficult to get better than this for the money. Very difficult to get better than this for the money. So all you guys that are looking to escape the West, yeah, if you can work abroad, if you can do business abroad, if you can do something online, right? As far as I'm concerned, so this place got 2 swimming pools. This place has got a roof pool and a lower pool as well. So this place has got 2 pools. So that I assume is the gym looking out onto the lower pool, and then it looks like you've got a roof swimming pool as well. Wow. So what you're getting for the money, just bear in mind though, there would be a service charge. This looks like you're up on the roof. But just remember there'd be a service charge. They may talk about that a bit down here. So let's have a little read. Let's make sure you can still see it. Yep, you can. Right, okay, so let's have a little read of this one. Here we go. Right, just like music, Symphony Residence transcends time and emotions. It's all nonsense. The 3-bedroom. So basically, remember, you're getting a studio, right? Right. So let's read it. So you got to. You're not. It says 3 bedrooms, but we're not looking at the 3-bedroom place unless you want to get a 3-bedroom place. But anyway, the 3-bedroom residences have a meticulous design to accommodate various housing and investment solutions. Right, making the residence a private sanctuary for all investors and homeowners. This composition of true luxury housing and high-end investment opportunities, truly music to everyone's ears. Symphony Residence is an architectural masterpiece boasting boasting talent in every detail, like a well-orchestrated orchestrated symphony. Every time you visit, you'll notice something peculiarly new. I don't know who wrote this. The elegant. I'm not reading all that. No, let's read it. The elegant integration of pastel colors and neutral lighting enable the residents to harmonize with its surroundings. The layouts provide wonderful fluidity and functionality throughout the apartments to help you flow through them with ease. My God, did ChatGTP write this? From the heartfelt rendition of innovation design to luxurious finishes, Symphony by VAAL Real Estate is bound to become an award-winning masterpiece. Add in the ultimate. Oh God. I'm not going to read any more of that. You can if you want. Let's look at the amenities, right? So you basically get a backup generator, a lovely kids play area, security gates, which is great, a borehole, internet ready, obviously, outdoor running track. My God, man. So anyone like me who wants to keep fit, who values your body, values all of that, this is a dream. Concierge services. In other words, people can't just walk in off the street. Yeah, elevators, 24-hour security, which is brilliant. Gated community, heated swimming pool. They've already said kids play area, control, and this is too. Kids controlled parking, which is great. Lounge area, which is brilliant. Landscape gardens. So effectively, you could use a lounge area for meetings. Rooftop lounge. Electric fence, perimeter wall, barbecue area, cable TV ready, fully equipped gym. Brilliant meeting rooms. So basically, this place is great for business, right? Video intercom, right? I'll see. Let me see if I can load that up again. Where's that gone? Because I wanted to show you the map. So what I'll do, I'll just show you where Lavington is actually. So let's do that. So if I just go to, let's just bring up Google Maps. Apologies, I should have had this sorted already. But if I just bring up Google Map, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to type in Lavington, Ghana, God, who is it? Accra. No, sorry, Kenya. Nairobi. Right, here we go. And what I would do, I'm wondering if I put in Symphony Residence, I'm wondering if it's actually just going to come up. So let me try that one as well. Let's try it. 1 minute. Bear with me. Right, okay. So I think, is it going to come up for us? Right, so let me put the man down there. Oops, that's not going to work. Right, so see if it's going to let us see the area. I mean, it's not been built yet, but I just wanted just to see. In fact, we'll do that as well. We'll do that. So let me come out of that bit there. Right, okay. Let's do that. Bear with me, guys. And this is going to help. Right, okay. I think they've got a show home. I think that's basically what they've got here. So, right, okay, let's do this. Right, okay, so let me drop this down. Let me stop sharing that. And what I will do, I will bring up the Google Map. So let me do that. Let me bring that in. Right, so You should be able to now, if I bring that in there. Right, okay, so you should be able to see this now. Right, now this is a map, basically. You can see, if I make it just a little bit smaller, right? Oops. So you can see that is, that's Kenya, obviously. Let's go, and you could see that this is Nairobi, basically. This is Nairobi. That's where they're going to be building the Symphony residence. This is a zoom in. Right now, this is a good part. This is Lavington, generally speaking. You got Kilalishwa, which is a good area, right? So basically, it's a good area, all right? So let me zoom in a little bit more. Bring that up. Right, so this is where they are going to build it. So let me just check what you can see. Right, okay, so if you look at those pictures, so that's where it is, basically. Right, so what we'll do, I'm pretty sure this is a show home, right? You know, sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, when they're building these blocks, they would build one so that you can have a little bit of an understanding as to what it's going to look like. So I'm pretty sure that's what they've done here. So you should be able to see those pictures. Just check you can. Yep. So you can see that. So if I go through the pictures, hopefully this is going to be helpful. So this is this is more or less what it's going to look like, and I'm pretty sure this is a show home. All right. So you just go through it. So I'm pretty sure this is generally the fixtures and fittings and that kind of thing. It looks all right to me. For the money, it looks all right to me. Yeah, here we go. Yes, good. Right, so that is, yeah, show house. So that is it. So my guess was absolutely correct. So basically they're broken ground and they're selling these apartments now. So I'm going to have to look into this one myself. I'm going to be honest. Right. So for the money, right, studios starting at £37,000, right, in a decent part of Nairobi. I don't know what that is. I think that's just across the road. In a decent part of Nairobi, I think this is good. I think that is all right. That's my view, right? So, right, okay, what I want to do now, right, let me go back one and let me see if it's going to let us drop. It's probably not. Right, okay, see if it's going to let us do that. Right, probably not. But the bottom line is anyway, right, so this is the general area, right? This is the general area of Nairobi or Lavington, where they're building this. It's obviously it's not been built, but you know, this is the general area, which I think is all right. I think it's a nice enough area. I don't see any issues with it really. You see, people that haven't been to the African continent, right? Some of us sadly have a view of the African continent of being mud huts and all this nonsense, right? What they really don't understand that Africa is beautiful and Kenya is amazing. Ghana's lovely. These places are beautiful. Jamaica's lovely. The Caribbean's beautiful. Guys, don't believe the hype of what you see on Western, in the Western media when it comes to the African continent. Just don't believe it. Don't believe it. Right. So that is definitely the board. That is the board, right? Well, you can see the number there as well, actually. So I'm giving you, that is the number, right? So the building looks like it's going to go up here. That makes sense? The building looks like it's going to go up there, basically. Can you see that? Let me just check that you can actually see it. Yeah, you can. Right. So the building, let me get back to that. Let's get back to that. So the building's going to go up there. Yeah, so as I was saying before, listen, don't believe the hype, right? That, the African continent is just full of mud huts. You just got war and famine and trouble and all this. Now, forget all that. That is nonsense. That is nonsense. That's Western propaganda, man. Honestly is. Africa is literally, it's beautiful now, but it's got a young population. It's on the verge of a boom, That's basically what's going on. You know, and honestly, if you are of African heritage, right, as far as I'm concerned, right, for what you get for the money, you know, bang for the buck, right, it's very difficult to beat the African continent now. If you can work, if you're a guy and you can work remotely, right, if you can do that, if you've got two pennies to rub together and know how to set up business successfully, right, emphasis is on the word successfully, right, this is a beautiful place, man. Not just Kenya, not just Nairobi, which is great, but anywhere on the African continent, pretty much. If you're a guy, black guy, you know, honestly, right, you really want to be looking at the African continent to emigrate to. Visit first and all that sort of stuff. Do your due diligence, do your legwork, all that stuff that you would do anywhere else, the stuff that makes sense. You know, visit a few times, all of that sort of stuff, right? But honestly, right, make your plans, man. That's what, I really mean that. Make your plans. There's nothing there to see really, other than the fact that we know. God, where's it gone? Where's that? It's going up somewhere around here. Where's that billboard gone? Did I go past it? Can't remember now. Anyway, right. I think you get the idea, right? So, guys, this was always going to be a short one, right? So I'm hoping you got something from that, right? Yeah, was that useful? Right, £37,000, right, for an amazing studio block. It's very difficult to do better than that. I personally think that's the best deal for the money that I've seen. I think that's the best deal for the money that I've seen. So, you know, so do check that out for yourself. Again, as I said at the very beginning of this video, when we were looking at how to buy land and property in Ghana, do your own due diligence regarding all of this. Even the last building that I just showed you, in Lavington, Nairobi, right? Check out the company. What else have they built? Don't just go and give them your money. What else have they built? What is their track record of building on the African continent? That's what you got to do, and that's your responsibility to do it. What this show is all about is not basically. I'm not your advisor. I'm just saying this looks like a good deal. That looks like a good deal, and it's your job to go and do that legwork and check it all out. Yeah. But anyway, look, if you're going to watch, if you're new here and you've not subscribed to my channel, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, do whatever it is you need to do to get notifications as to when I go live, and share it with your friends. Any man who's looking to relocate to another country, right? Share this with them. Share my channel with them. Right, anyone who's looking to relocate to the African continent, Ghana, Kenya, Zambia, Uganda, Zambia, we're going to be looking at all of those countries, but share my channel with them. Share the information. If you look at my other videos, you will see that I've been saying for the longest of times that we are not tied or stuck we don't have to be tied or stuck to living in the West. We're not under any obligation to any diminished, absent black community in the West. No, simply because basically, I don't know how it is in the States, but we don't have one in the UK anymore. So there's nothing to tie us here. A lot of us haven't got any kids. A lot of us, our God bless wives have divorced us, right? Some of us can't see our children, or we might see them once every other weekend and half the holidays, right? So that's called standard contact time in the UK. I'm sure something similar in the US. The bottom line is we are not tied to living in the West. And trust me, there's a quality of life and purpose elsewhere. I focus on the African continent. You might focus on Asia or some other place, and that's fine. Anywhere. All I want for black men is to be able to self-actualize and have purpose for life, have a reason to live. Yeah. For me, that's the African continent, adding into what's going on there and all of that sort of stuff. Not just being a leech and not just bringing a Western mindset, a Western male mindset to Africa. No, the idea is we got to leave our Western brains, call it that simp brain if you want, leave it at the airport, leave it at Leave it at Miami airport when you get on the plane to go to the African continent. Leave it at Heathrow or Gatwick if you're flying from the UK. Wherever you're flying from in the West, leave your brain there, right? And develop a new brain for the country where you're going. Develop a new brain for the country where you are going. Yo, Terry, good to have you aboard, sir. But no, seriously, leave your brain at the airport so that you don't infect. Listen carefully, so that you do not infect. Right, bring your infection that you've or your programming that you've been given from a little baby, a little child, a little boy in whatever Western country you're leaving. Right, so that you don't infect the culture where you're going to. The idea is to treat the women where you're going, even though this live stream's not been about relationships. The idea is to treat the women where you're going like the men that are already there. Does that make sense? Yeah. And also to contribute to the community where you're going to, even though we don't necessarily have communities in some of our countries where we're leaving, where we're running from, right? Even though we may not have community in these countries, the idea is that we should want to contribute to a real community where we're going to. Does that make sense? You know, we're not going to other countries to destroy those countries and turn those countries into the mess, right, where we're trying to run from. The idea is we're trying to build or add to, you know, where we're going to. That's the idea. Otherwise, keep your mess in your country. Keep it there. That's all I'm going to say. Listen, I'm out, guys. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. I am out. Terry, good to have you aboard. So I've never seen your name before. Subscribe to the channel, bro, and come back again. Hopefully, I will see you again. Peace.